Today we're talking about how we can get started writing music. Hey, I'm Schanno Johnson. If you don't know me, I'm a musician, composer, producer, and I make videos about all that fun stuff. Music composition, music production. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to see videos like this in the future. Getting into composing music can be absolutely terrifying if you don't know where to go or you don't know what to do and you don't really have any guidance for what you should start with writing music. So today's video hopefully will be some very, very bare bones basics that can get you started writing music. Now, I will say you will have to have something to write with, so either an instrument or a music sequencer, and I am going to assume that you have some type of background in music or performance or playing an instrument or something. You have some basics of like playing a song or maybe chords or something so that you can actually think about writing music musically. In musical terms, rather than just starting from the very beginning, never played an instrument, and want to get started writing music. That's for a future video. So what you're going to need for this video to be useful is a basic understanding of music and rhythms and hopefully written music or chords or something that would be really, really useful, and some idea of what you want to write. So we're going to break this up into a couple different pieces. So the first piece is keep it simple. Keep it incredibly simple. Whatever you're going to write for your first song, keep it as simple as you possibly can. I remember I found in one of my old guitar cases, I was going through some of my old guitars that I played when I was little, when I first started playing, and in one of the pockets I found a piece of sheet music. It was written notation from a notebook that I'd torn out of the notebook, and it was the notebook I used when I first started taking guitar lessons. And I probably would have been in about 3rd grade or 4th grade or something. I found this piece of music that I wrote, and I remember writing it. It was all half notes. And it didn't sound good either, honestly. It didn't sound good. It sounded like, you know, a 3rd grader first learning guitar, been playing for about 6 months. But I knew the notes on the guitar. I knew how to write them down on sheet music. So I wrote sort of a little song with it. And I remember finding it, and I played it, and I was like, wow, okay. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was a song, and it was a first try, right? I was able to notate and write down this piece of music that I thought of when I was in 3rd grade, and I was able to play it on my guitar at the time. So I knew the notes, I knew where they were on the instrument, and I knew the rhythms that I wanted to write. That's what you want to do. Not, you know, if you're not in 3rd grade, you could probably do better than that, but keep it incredibly simple. Basically, get the first piece out of the way. Get the first piece out of the way so that you can start writing other music, right? Write something really simple. Write just quarter notes, just half notes, like I did, right? Write something that is so incredibly simple that it's almost uninteresting to you, that you don't find it interesting, that it's kind of boring. You want to keep it so simple that you just get the first piece out of the way, and then you can start writing other types of music. So keep it incredibly simple. 4/4, keep it tonal, and use notes and scales that you already know. Don't try and learn something else through writing a new piece of music. Use a time signature that you already know. Use chords that you already know. Use shapes from melodies that you already know, rhythms you already know. Everything should be something that you already are familiar with and can play, hopefully, so that you can hear what it sounds like, and write that. Get that first melody, or honestly, I would say get your first, 100 melodies or something out of the way. Write just a whole bunch of melodies, get them out of the way, keep writing a whole bunch of stuff so that then you can start to think of more ideas and think more creatively. Because I think when you get started, you just need to get used to the act of saying, I'm going to write a piece of music. This is the finished piece of music. And you need to just get used to that process of writing something, polishing it, and finishing it. Just get used to that process, and then you'll start to get better at it. The next piece is to write over a chord progression that you already know. Right now, I'm looking at my piano players, okay? Piano players, if you have a left-hand pattern and a chord progression that you can play really well and are comfortable with, write a new melody on top of it. Maybe you're playing a song and you really like the chords in the left hand. Write a new right hand melody. You can steal the chord progression. No one's going to get mad at you for that. And honestly, if you're writing your first song, do you really want to publish it? Honestly, you're probably not going to want to publish it. So It won't matter if it's a chord progression that you take from another song because you're changing the melody and then the rest of the music is also going to be different, right? But choose something you already know and can play and then write a melody on top of it. Even if that's a chord progression on guitar that you already know, hum or sing the melody if you play guitar on top of this chord progression that you already know. For the chord progression or accompaniment, I suggest you use a chord progression you know really well, like C, G, A minor, and F, or the 4-chord song, or a 1-4-5, C, F, G, whatever it is, use a chord progression that you know really well and can play. I also think it's useful to start with some type of 4-chord loop or some type of chord loop in general. Maybe it's 4 bars, 3 chords or something. But you want to start with something that's simple and sort of repeats over and over again so that you can get an idea of what that sounds like, what sounds you want to put on top of it, and it gives you sort of a basis to start with, and you just say, okay, I'm going to write a new melody over these chords, and I'm just going to keep seeing if I can write a different melody over these chords. So you write an 8-bar melody over those chords that you know really well. Then you write another 8-bar melody over those chords that you know really well. There you go. You have 2 new melodies. You're a music composer now. You already know how to write music. That's it. You started. The next piece is going to be something about form. And if you're unfamiliar, form in music terms means just where and how the different sections are arranged and how they're related. So if you have melody 1, melody 2, then you go back to melody 1, we call that rounded binary form. Binary meaning 1, 2, and then rounded because you go back to the first melody. So start with something like that. Write one melody that's 8 bars, then write a different melody that's another 8 bars, and then go back to the first melody that's 8 bars. You now have a song that's 24 measures long. That's your first song. It's in rounded binary form. It's in ABA form. Same chord progression throughout the whole thing. But look, you got a first song, basically. That's what you want to do when you start. Something really simple. I would keep the form fairly strict because that can help you sort of make something sound a little bit more polished when you aren't really hearing it in those terms. You're not hearing ABA as a form, but you're writing it into sort of that mold, and then it'll just make it sound a little bit more organized and coherent and more well thought out. The next piece of this is to just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That's basically how you get good at writing music is, you write a lot of music. Think about practicing an instrument, right? People that are really good at their instrument have practiced and played their instrument, spending a lot of time working on the same things, right? They've practiced that instrument for so long. They've played those things so many times that they really know what they're doing. Think of writing music the same way. You want to keep writing. You want to write a lot of music in order to get good at it. Now, you do also want to think like, is this what I want to write? Is this what I like? Does this sound good to me? Because, you can't just write a whole ton of music, just random notes, more random notes. That's not really going to help. But if you're thinking, is this the sound I want? What emotion am I trying to convey? Is this piece achieving that emotion? Is this piece conveying that emotion? Or is there something else that I can use, some other musical idea or musical notes, literally, that will convey that emotion better? That's what will help you get better at writing music, where you're thinking critically about the music you write. You write a piece of music, finish it, look at it and say, did I accomplish my goal? Did I write what I wanted to write? Did I express whatever I was trying to express? That's what you want to do. That will help you get a whole lot better at writing music because you're thinking critically about the pieces that you write and thinking, how can I write my next piece better than this last one? What can I learn from this piece that I already wrote? I hope that was a good first start. I hope that got you sort of energized and excited to write a piece of music, and I hope it gave you some guidance for something that you can write and get started writing so you can sort of get started getting those 100 pieces out of the way. I think that's a nice attitude to think about because you kind of do have to write a lot of music in order to get comfortable writing music. You need to write music, right? You get better at it by doing it, and that means that fortunately, you have a ton of music that you write, but it also means you have a ton of music that you don't like. So keep writing music because you might write a lot of music that you don't like. But look, if you write 100 songs and you like 1 out of every 10, after 100 songs, that's 10 songs. So look, that's a whole album. So it might take you that many songs to write a whole album, but you still have that whole album. You still get there in the end, but it it is something that you kind of need to practice and you need to work on. But the great thing for us as composers is that, yeah, you get better at it the more you do it. So the more music you write, the better you get at writing music. So it becomes easier and easier and easier to get that goal, to express yourself the way you want to convey the correct emotions that you're trying to convey. It gets easier the more you do it. So hopefully that's some encouragement. All right, that is the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about music. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.